fifth graders. Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a restful weekend. I hope you guys are all able to get outside. It is absolutely gorgeous out there this weekend. So I hope you guys had a restful weekend and you're ready to get back at some more math. Speaking of math and great weekends, what was the probability that it would be almost 50 degrees in February? Who would have predicted that kind of weather? See how math can be so useful in our everyday lives? So fifth graders, we are going to move on from talking about probability, talking about likely and unlikely, certain and impossible, and we're going to move on a little bit to looking at showing probability in tables. Now, let's think though a little bit. Let's think back a little bit. If you were to say it would be sunny and 50 degrees in February in Wisconsin, would you say it was certain or impossible? Likely or unlikely? Certain, impossible, likely, or unlikely? What do you think? What would you say? Personally, I think I would say unlikely. I would say it's unlikely that it would be 50 degrees and sunny in Wisconsin in February. But it happened. See, unlikely doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. If we say it's never going to happen, that is impossible, right? Likely is just saying that it's probably not going to happen, but there is the small chance that it could happen. Likely means it's definitely going to happen, but there's a small chance that it could also not happen. Certain and impossible are the definites. Those are the ones you're like, yes, this is definitely a certain event. Is it going to rain in Seattle? Certainly. It rains all the time in Seattle. Is it going to rain in the desert? Impossible. Doesn't rain in the desert. Is it likely to be 50 degrees and sunny in February? Well, no. But it could be. We saw that just the other day. So we're going to move on and look at experimenting a little bit with probability and seeing it more in real life. And what we're going to be looking at is something called a table of possible outcomes. Now, what would a table of possible outcomes show us? You're correct. It would show us the possible outcomes or the results of an experiment. A table of possible outcomes. So if you look at your worksheet, let me grab mine right here. Now, sorry for the confusion last week, guys. Miss Chauncey and no coffee. It's a deadly combination. But you should all have this one, 11.2, probability experiments. 11.2. Now, this is not filled out, but this is a table of possible outcomes. This is going to show the possible outcomes that we could have for spinning a spinner. Now, you probably don't all just have a spinner lying around that says 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3. So, there is one question on here that you cannot do. But for the most part, you should be able to do every other question on this worksheet. Now, fifth graders though, I do challenge you to be creative. If you have Twister, if you have, the game, what did my girls that I nannied this summer had a game called Floor is Lava that had a spinner. If you have a board game somewhere that has a spinner, get a piece of paper and some tape and create your own spinner. Make a spinner that looks just like that, and then you can do this whole worksheet. Maybe I'll give you extra credit if you come tomorrow with this completely done. But we're going to be looking at possible outcomes of events. And so what you would do if you did spin it, you would spin the spinner, your possible outcomes, predict the number of times each outcome will occur if you spin 20 times. So how many times do you think you'll spin one? There are 3 1s, 2 2s, and 1 3. How many times do you think you would spin one? And would you spin a number that is labeled multiple times on the spinner more often or less often than a number that's just once? So what I'm asking, fifth graders, would you spin 5? Would your spinner land on 5 more times than it would land on 3? Probably, because there are more 1s on your spinner than 3s. So why don't you work through this worksheet? You're also able to do 7 and 8 very well, very well. And look at probability in action. If you don't have a spinner, you can't find one in any of your board games, this is my challenge to you. Get marbles, Lego pieces, erasers. Get 3 of the same color, 2 of the same color, and 1 single color. So let's say you get 3 blues, 2 reds, and 1 green. Put them in a bag you can't see. Pick a different color 20 times. Same idea. And see what happens. Good luck and have fun experimenting with probability.